Everyone, it's Nitin. I know we just did a reaction to the announcements for 2XKO the other day, formerly Project L, but I wanted to make a little more focused video, breaking down everything that was both announced and everything we can take away from the footage and the following up tweets from different staff members later that day, and then just talk about what we can look to see moving forward in the short term. So let's jump into that real quick. And first off, obviously we have the name. We were Project L. Now we're looking at 2XKO. I personally think typing 2XKO is totally fine. Maybe you'll say 2X for short, or type 2X for short. I do think speaking, there's definitely going to be some shorthand for it. It might be 2X. I personally like Coco. I think it's like a cheekier thing, and it's as easy to say as 2X. That's just my preference, but I personally don't hate the name. I would always lean on the side of doing something that's a little too risky than a little too safe. And while I personally would have liked to see a little more of a connection to like making it more clear that we're talking about it being connected to League, I think that could be helpful. I trust their judgment, and if you know about League, you're going to know about this game through all their different marketing anyways. So that's just kind of how Riot is. And I did notice one thing too that I don't see a lot of people talking about is on the subreddit, you can see this was created January 20th, 2023, which to me indicates this name was at least an option for over a year. Or basically exactly a year after that. It was a year and 2 days. It was the full announcement. So there definitely is some confidence behind the name. I wouldn't expect them to change it, no matter how much the vocal minority yells about it. But that's just kind of where I'm at on it. Yeah, let's hop in here. We know Tom. He just introduces the new name. We got a little extra footage here. So right off the bat, we have the new stage. It's a Bilgewater stage focused in a bar or tavern of some kind. We'll get into these photos here a little bit, but there's at least some references on here. I'm not sure how much of these are going to point to actual roster members. But one thing I did want to point out from this stage is I think there's a lot more motion and animation from the background characters, the NPCs, than I would have expected. And I think it looks good. They did a good job, like making the stage look more like painterly with less of the hard outlines. But all the characters that move and you want them to stand out a little more have the black outline around them. I think it's a nice touch. And then one other small thing, I don't have a direct comparison right now, but I will have some for some other VFX. All these VFX between like dust around like characters getting knocked over and hit effects and super effects, it seems like all of those have gotten a good touch up and have really gotten improved. I'm not sure. I would imagine since we're a year out, nothing's final even now, but the game is looking a lot smoother, a lot better. Let's keep going. Nothing too crazy just yet. We see right there that parry was frame 1 coming from Yasuo. You can see Yasuo lands with like a active hitbox, and Echo just wakes up and insta parries it, which is pretty cool. So like even this little animation, like these VFX on the super, they're very similar to the old build, but a little more clean. There's a little more of this purple highlight going on. Before it used to be more of just this orange outline. Definitely in a good direction. And then there's a new name.
First, we finally have a name. Project L is now 2XKO.
That is the name. All right. So a couple new things here. We have the new HUD. I'm sure you guys are all aware. Looks a little different. I think it's... I really like the direction it's going. Everything's being communicated a bit more clearly. You have the not available for the ARI assist, and it even like blurs them out in red, which I think is a nice touch. You have this assist ready button, which I think is interesting. It shows a direction specifically. I wonder why that is, because as far as I know, you have a forward and back assist on every character. You see that right now it's player 1 and player 3 versus just player 2. This will be cool to see, like if you can actually put player names, which you'll see kind of later in the video. I'm not sure if we'll talk about it later. And then we still have these nice status indicators. Freestyle here, you can see that's what one of the fuses being used is. All great. The dynamic save meter looks really good. It got cleaned up from before. I'm a fan of all this. I think the only changes I would like to see right now, and I already tweeted this at them, during combos, well, this is showing another mechanic, but during combos, like this red health is actually recoverable HP, I believe. and white health is the combo damage currently going on, which I think I would reverse, and it would be a little more intuitive. Not a huge deal. The other thing is, at a glance, if you're not seeing the super meter going up or down, I don't think this is super important, but I think you could slant these super meters so it like gets taller as the bar fills. Do you know what I mean? So for spectators, if like someone isn't going up or down, or they just want to at a glance know like how much super meter does this person have, like right now, or it makes on the right side it's a little more confusing than on the left, but on the right side there's an argument to be made, like because like it's filling, you know what I mean, like left versus right, it could be a little confusing. So I just think having the height change as it fills would be a little helpful. But the direction of everything looks great. Really legible. Love that. So this is one of the other mechanics that I think is totally new. It's called Protected. So you'll see Darius here gets hit on the same frame from both sides. He actually gets mixed like 3 times back to back in this like window. But yeah, you can see here it's same side, or if it's not the same frame, it's like a frame after or something. But you'll see he gets this protected status, which to me means if you're going to get hit by 2 things on the same frame, or if you're still in block stun while another hitbox comes in, as long as you blocked one of those, or either the first one, or if they're on the same frame, one of them, then you're not going to get opened up. That's my guess. I'd probably lean more towards if you block something and then another hit comes right after, this is what's going to show, but I'm not sure. It's definitely one of the two, which I think is a nice touch. What else do we have here?
Things are really ramping up. We still have a lot
So I
of games
think,
left to build.
yes, we have the HUD over here. So on this HUD, you can see, it's kind of hard to read, but it looks like this says Max and Echo. So you have the player name, Max, versus, and then the character name next to it. So it looks like right now this is a 1v1 game because these names look the same. I can't really tell because they're blurred. But hypothetically, this could be like, I don't know, Daigo, Justin Wong, right? And then Yasuo Echo. So I think that's cool. So spectators always know who's controlling who. And I think there's even more work that could be done here. I think you could color code some stuff. Like I could see situations where like you're looking up here, but like so many tags are happening that like you're like, oh wait, how much meter does this character have? And you go to look at the top, and then you look down, and by the time you look down, these are flipping, and you don't know who's actually in and which is which. I think if you could like color code or something, or have some type of indicator here, like, or maybe you even have like the character icon. I think that might get a little too busy with the character icon, but finding some way to make these more evident who they go to, because yeah, the bigger number is the character that's currently in, but like especially with freestyle fuse and stuff like that, you could have a lot of characters on screen
Always
at
evolving
once.
fighting game for the FGC.
So definitely
And there's
interesting.
so much to be excited for.
Then we have Alawi, who we have seen before, but obviously more fleshed out. Now this is interesting. I'd almost call this like a soft, like she's already had a soft reveal, right? But even now, I don't think she's considered fully revealed or fully announced by their marketing. Because if we go to their website and look at the roster, she's still not listed, which I think is really interesting. And since this was just kind of them announcing the name, and now they're saying, "Oh, you're gonna hear from us a lot more in the near future," I would expect like a full allowing like gameplay breakdown or something of that nature. Maybe even like a dev stream going over her, and then once all that is like fully done, then they'll show here. So like maybe characters only once they're fully out and about. That's when they show that on that part of the site. So interesting to see. And then we'll talk about it now too. I think Alawi moves further to the right. If this one still work.
Hey all, Tom here. Lean fighting game. Need your help.
All right. So right here, there's a few pictures here, and I think it's on the other side of the stage. There's one of Tom Kench, but here is 100% Aatrox in his Sea Hunter skin, which I think I have. Yeah, I posted this in the subreddit earlier. You can definitely see the correlation here. There's even like this little swoop tattoo, but like the shape of the head's pretty unmistakable. So I don't know if that's just a nod. I'm gonna guess that's more of just a nod to him since it's a skin, not the default Aatrox. I don't know what that means for his likelihood of getting in the roster or not. But I do think it's really interesting. And then I think this is like a Gangplank, one of the Gangplank skins, but like he's older or something. I doubt if they put Gangplank in, he's going to be default like an older character. I think everyone's going to look pretty true to their league version. But definitely really interesting to see. There's plenty of stuff for them to work off of if they're going to keep putting references in across the game. So I think that's pretty cool. But outside of that, I don't think there's a ton more. I mean, you see the new super from Alawi Super is a little more fleshed out. But other than that, really all they say here is we're going to launch in 2025 on Xbox, PS5, and PC. There's going to be probably playtest this year. Go sign up, which to me, I think if you're signing up now in February, I'd be very surprised if there's like no playtest till like November. You know what I mean? That's 8 months. That seems like a really long time to just have like that whole waitlist sitting there. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 3 to 6 months they start doing some type of online playtest, but we'll see. But either way, they'll be around with physical demos more around the world. I'll be at EVO myself, so I'm definitely going to play it there, assuming it's there. And then if it's on the East Coast anywhere, I'll definitely come through and check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And they say, like, keep an eye out. We'll be talking to you soon. Follow our socials, which brings us to some other stuff here, which I think I have this tweet up twice. So Draggles is the editor-in-chief for 2XKO, and he confirms you can expect to see a lot more from us over the coming weeks, especially where we're going to be going behind the scenes on how the team is cooking or on what the team is cooking. So if there's anything you want to know about, hit us up here. Still lots to do. So coming weeks is really good. Hopefully we get to hear a lot more, because the other thing is, well, we'll talk about everything else I said now, and then I'll leave the speculation for the end of the video. There was one other thing that was really notable. Someone made a nice meme with Ari and the Ethernet cord, cool. And then we get confirmation, server-based rollback, which I don't fully understand the technical ins and outs. I think I understand how rollback works. I'm just confused on how they're going to avoid this adding like more of a delay. I trust their judgment on it, considering they invented rollback, but they have lit the bat signal apparently to go into a deep dive on how all this works, and Drago said he's on it. So really would like to see that in as much detail as humanly possible, but you can trust this game's going to have like the best netcode out there. Yeah, I talked about the HUD stuff, and then that's that same tweet. So then the other thing is, this has been known for a while, but on their website, you can look via inspect element at how many character slots there are, and it looks like there's 16 total slots, which as of now we have 5 characters really confirmed. Then we have Jinx, who's been seen recently in gameplay, so she's also likely confirmed, and then we saw Katarina very early on, so she's kind of likely confirmed but not super. Either way, outside of the 5, let's say even 6 we have now with Jinx, that means in the next 12 to 22 months, we need to get, if there's 16 characters, which I think would be on the low end for a versus game, but if there's 16 characters, we would need to get, that's 11 more characters. Or I have it written down here. It's 9 new reveals if we're looking at Alawi, Jinx, and Cat. But that's a pretty fast cadence, especially for like as slow as we've seen characters so far. Like Alawi we saw like almost a year ago at this point, and she's still not like fully on the website. You know what I mean? So I assume this leads me to think, along with like a lot of the ways they're talking about it, like, I don't know about you guys, it's I don't think they just have like the core combat done and like some online functionality. We know they almost exclusively test the game online, internally, or maybe not almost exclusively, but a ton. They've been doing that from the start. So the internet part works, and the netcode part works. But if they have only 5 characters, let's say 6 or 7 character, no, really only 6 characters kind of shown, because Jinx we saw some of her kit, Cat we really didn't. Like, it's not like they're just going to be starting and finishing a lot of these characters in the next year and a half, right? Like, that's way faster than we've been seeing these characters. So I think there's a lot more work done than we think, and we're about to start hearing about it pretty quickly. And it also makes me wonder how much single player content is done, because they have, I'll get into this in another video, but they have plenty of narrative positions filled, people working on the narrative side of this. There's got to be some single player content to this to some degree. There's got to be some other alternative modes. They have to do their whole ranked system. Like, there's a lot of stuff to be done, and only in a year and a half. Like, I know that might sound like a lot, but it really isn't for like a game with this type of budget. So in my mind, in the next year, they're looking to like really kind of hone in on where they're going to end up, and then like the last 6 months is going to be like the final details type of stuff. And obviously the game's going to be ever evolving and everything, so they're going to continue to work on it. But I mean, I do think a lot of the major legwork is done now, and a lot of it's just actual like getting the stuff coded in and stuff like that. So I'm very optimistic to hear a lot of stuff soon. I think there's a lot of potential there. And I really hope betas are in the kind of near future, 3 to 6 months. I really think that'd be great. That's definitely what I'm looking forward to. One other thing I did want to point out too, I was going over some old footage, and from the Evil Red Bull pin drop event, right at the start of the stream, Apology Man goes to like turn on runbacks or something, or restart the game. And there's a setting to allow banned champs. And we know they've been testing with multiple champs. If I remember correctly, Max a long time ago said there was, at a playtest, there were various champs they can't talk about that were varying degrees of complete. And even if Alawi and Jinx were included with one of them, I don't think it's just 2 characters. And it's probably not even just 3. I think there was a decent amount done, like I said, to varying degrees. And this was basically, 6 months ago? Maybe a little more. So, I don't know. I'm very optimistic. I hope we find a lot of new characters soon. That'll probably be one of my next videos, is who I guess will be in the actual roster, and then who I would like to be in the actual launch roster, and then just long-term who I'd like to see in the game. It is no secret the character I want in the game most is Veigar. He's like my favorite character in terms of like aesthetic and personality and everything. But there are a few other ones that he's not even like my most played character in League, which is funny. But yeah, there's plenty of characters I'd be interested to see, but Veigar is going to be my number one. I'm always going to ask for that. I don't even know if they can make him work, but I really hope they can. But yeah, I already think this is getting a little on the long end, so we're going to cut it there. And yeah, next video will be roster, theorizing, theory crafting, all that stuff. And then I have plenty of ideas in the future. I really want to talk about ranked. I care a lot about ranked systems. I want them to work well. And this is a whole new realm for fighting games, having the 1v1 or 2v2 or 1v2 aspect. There's a lot of stuff to figure out there. And Riot has a track record of doing a great job with their rank system. So I'm really curious. I'd like to discuss that a lot. And hopefully there's even going to be a Clash mode equivalent in this game, some built-in in-game tournaments. That would be really sick. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.